Hey, Happy New Year everyone. I hope you're ready to go over some problems. Today I wanted to show you inequalities and how to solve them. For this first problem, we're going to take a look at a couple different functions and what happens when you compare them. So to start out, we'll set them equal to each other, and to do this we're going to need a coordinate system. So for the first function, we have f of x equals 3x minus 2. So if you graph that line, the slope is positive 3 and the y-intercept is minus 2, so the line goes right here. And then the second function is g of x equals 7, which is just going to be a flat line that intercepts the y-axis at 7. So this first comparison A tells us where these lines intersect, where f of x is equal to g of x. So to start, you just plug in each function into the comparison. So you have 3 of x minus 2 is equal to 7. Add 2 to both sides, you get 3 of x equals 9. And then divide both sides by 3, and you get x equals 3. So when you look at the coordinate system, the lines are going to intersect at x equals 3. For part B, we have f of x is less than g of x. So that says 3x minus 2 is less than 7. And so you just want to isolate x on one side. So again, we're going to add 2 to both sides. So if 3x is less than 9, and then divide by 3, you get x is less than 3. And don't forget that if you divide by a negative number, that you have to flip the sign of the inequality. So for example, if we did minus 3x is less than 9, and you divide by minus 3, then you'd have x is greater than minus 3. So our answer here is x is less than 3, and if you write that in interval form, you have minus infinity and 3, both with soft parentheses. And if you write this on a number line, you have an open circle at x equals 3. And the circle's open because it's less than 3, not less than or equal to 3. And for part C, we have f of x is greater than g of x. So 3x minus 2 is greater than 7. Just add 2 to each side, isolate the x. So 3x is greater than 9, divide both sides by 3. X is greater than 3, and you can write that in interval form, which is 3 comma infinity, the rounded parentheses, and then on a number line, again an open circle, and that's it, x equals 3. For number 2, we have 2 is less than 4x minus 6, which is less than or equal to 10. So you just treat these like normal. We want to isolate the x, so we have to add 6 to each side. So 8 is less than 4x, which is less than or equal to 16. And then we can divide each side by 4. So we have 2 is less than x, which is less than or equal to 4. And when you write that in interval form, you have 2 comma 4 with the hard bracket on the right side and the soft parenthesis on the left. And then on a number line, you have an open circle at x equals 2 and a closed circle at x equals 4. For problem 3, we have a square root. So the square root of x minus 3 is greater than or equal to 6. So you're just going to square both sides, giving you x minus 3 is greater than or equal to 36. And then isolate the x by adding 3 to each side. So x is just greater than or equal to 39. And in interval form, you have 39 comma infinity and a hard bracket on the left side. For number 4, we have x squared minus 4 is less than 0. So isolate the x squared. You have x squared is less than 4. And you know that 2 squared equals 4, and x has to be less than 2 because your answer has to be less than 4 after you square it. So we know x is less than 2. And then x can also be negative, so we have to try and see what's going to work with that. if the number's smaller than -2, the negative goes away, so you actually get a larger answer than 4. So we know that it's going to have to be greater than -2. So your final result is going to be -2 is less than x is less than 2. And in interval form, that just gives you -2, 2 with soft parentheses. Alright, for 5 we have the absolute value of x plus 1 is greater than or equal to 3. So there's a theorem that says to split this up where you're looking at x plus 1 is greater than 3 and x plus 1 equals 3. And then you also want to do the same thing with -3, but you have to flip the inequality. So you have x plus 1 is less than 3 and x plus 1, I'm sorry, I forgot the -3. And then x plus 1 equals -3. And so then you use these all to find x and construct your answer. So the first, we just subtract 1 from each side, and you have x is greater than 2 and x equals 2. And on the bottom left, subtract 1 from each side, so x is less than -4, and then x equals -4. So then you just take the top half where we worked with +3, and it tells you that x is greater than or equal to 2, and then the bottom half tells you x is less than or equal to 4. It's supposed to be -4. So in order to write this in interval form, doing x is less than or equal to -4, we have -infinity, comma, -4, hard bracket, soft bracket, and then a u, and then we have 2, comma, infinity, hard bracket, soft parenthesis, and that's your final answer in interval form.